Head of the Female Founders Forum. Welcome to the programme, Aria. So, how does housing affect entrepreneurialism? I suppose when people think of startups, they might think of tech. They might think this is what you can do working from home. Perhaps we don't need people living closely together or new homes.
So a lot of companies can now don't have to be located in the same place, but the entrepreneurs that we've been speaking to say that the fact that it's really difficult now to hire staff in London, Oxford, Cambridge, where their businesses are based, is holding back their productivity. So some of them are choosing to switch to remote workers, and they're even hiring remote workers in as far away as like India or Brazil, where like employment is much cheaper. But when they can, they still want staff in London or Oxford or Cambridge or Bristol or Edinburgh, places with really expensive housing, and this is proving to be very difficult for them.
I see. So because we're not building enough homes, particularly in these innovative centres, these sort of cities with big research communities, firms are more likely to hire people abroad than British people.
This is true, yes. So if you can't have a staff member in London with you, then it makes really no difference if they're in Wales or if they're in India. So you might as well switch to hiring someone very far away if it's that much cheaper.
Now, some people might say that not building loads new housing down in the rich southeast might be positive for other parts of the country, maybe encouraging people to stay back in those left behind, forgotten communities. But there's a certain amount of research that shows actually that not building houses down in the southeast can hurt those left-behind communities.
It hurts them because innovation is basically the lifeblood of the economy. It is much easier to start a business in a dense cluster where there are other entrepreneurs, where there is other expertise, where people are meeting each other and coming up with ideas. So cities will always be the most productive places. If you price people out of them, you don't necessarily just move this economic activity to another part of the country. You kill it. So instead of having companies that are inventing like new ways of curing cancer or like making new like meat products or something, they just don't exist.
So why is it that all of the sort of big firms of the world, they seem to be based in California? That we don't have a British Apple or a British Google or a British Amazon. If we were to really fix our housing problem, might the next tech superpower company come from Britain?
I think it plausibly could. Silicon Valley has created more unicorns than the entirety of Europe. There is definitely something to having a cluster of really, really bright people, but Silicon Valley has failed to solve their own housing problem. It's one of the most expensive places in the world to live, and over the course of the past 5 years, entrepreneurs have been fleeing there, like tech workers have been fleeing there. They've been moving to places like Miami or Texas. We could capture that. We could encourage these people to move to the UK. The UK has really great fundamentals. We've got some of the best universities in the world. We have DeepMind. We have loads of interesting tech companies. So we could steal the best and the brightest from California and bring them to the UK.
That's so interesting because the competitive environment now, particularly with those sort of Republican-controlled states of Texas and of Florida, sort of stealing those people, we should get in on that game, is what you're saying.
We definitely should. And if we don't, Paris, Amsterdam or Frankfurt will do it instead. And these are much cheaper places to live. In Berlin, your rent is about half what it is in London.
Wow, well, it's a significant problem, but also a significant opportunity there. Aria Babu of the Entrepreneurs Network, thank you very much for talking us through that new paper there, Build Houses, Create Entrepreneurs.